I don't even know where to start. What is up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to another vlog. Welcome back to another book review. But this time, as you can tell by the title, this is not a good book. This is Dragon Keeper by Robin Hobb. It's book 1 of the Rain Wild Chronicles. It's apparently like the second or third or fourth series in a series. I don't fucking know, some weird shit. But I'm gonna show you the point where I officially said this book is fucking trash. Right? It was about page 83. Yeah, it was page 83. No, page 86. So, you know, I read a good amount of this book, you know. About 100 pages in. And the reason I'm quitting this book, I want to make it known now, is because not even 100 pages, and there has been 3 character switches, 3 main characters that have been introduced, and 3 main character POV switches, which I could be fine with if Robin didn't the way she writes, from what I've noticed in this book, there's about 7 different times where the POV switches from a main character to another main character in one chapter. And chapters are about 30 to 50 pages long. I'll try to kind of put it in a little bit of a perspective for you guys. But okay, I was on chapter 4, right? I began chapter 4, right? Chapter 4 ends on page chapter 4 is not that long, but anyways, 7 different POV switches in one chapter. And I read that there's about 7 to, and not about, there's about 5 to 8 different main characters in one book. The thing with Robin Hobbs is, first book I've read of her, read from her, I should say. The thing with Robin Hobbs is she doesn't know how to pace. I've read that this book is a book of 4, but this book and the second book are technically one book together. And it is essentially just one long prologue, because all that happens in this book is a whole lot of nothing. Alice gets raped by her closeted gay husband. That's a whole story in itself. But one of the things that honestly really turned me off from continuing with this book, and I'm probably never going to pick up another Robin Hobbs book again, mainly because I can tell she's not the type of author I'd personally enjoy. But with that being said, she's still a fucking she's a trash author, I'm sorry. Her books are trash. This shit is fucking garbage. A good book a good storyteller, a good narrator, whatever you want to call themselves, a good author, they don't put more than 3 main characters inside one book, and if they do, they have them interact with each other. The characters I've met so far, I think one of the names is Ping, claws for hands or something like that. Then Alice, and then my favorite is God, what the fuck is his name? Like his name was on the top of my fucking on the top of my tongue. Okay, yeah, right here. Okay, that's Keepers and Dragons. Captain Lefterin is like the only character I've actually grown to kind of like in this book. But let me just show you the amount of characters that are in this book. Main characters, by the way. Dragon and Dragon Keepers, right here. Then we turn the page, and the Dragon Keepers ends right here. Then this is the characters in the Bing Towners. And then right here is the crew of the Tarman. And then malicious, extra characters right here. You don't need this many characters, main characters, in a book. Robin, it seems like her flaws are pacing. She doesn't know how to pace. In fact, I know she doesn't know how to pace, because you're telling me in about 100 pages, nothing happens. Fucking nothing happens. And the other, the other character I was really liking was Thamara. She's 16 years old, has black claws instead of nails. She was the other one I was kind of getting into. Haven't heard of her. Haven't seen a fucking trace of her since the beginning of the book. And I'm on page. And I quit the book on page basically 90. There's Thamara, Alice, Hest, Cedric, Lefterin. That's about 5 main characters that I just named right there in this book. And the chapters, they like, one moment you could be, one moment, like, for literally a page, you could be reading about Lefterin, and him doing his, wood scalping shit he does in this book. And then the next page, it'll fucking just switch over to Alice's point of view about her getting ready for her marriage, and it switches, then, let's say it switches to fucking Hest, talking about some weird shit, and then switches to Ping, and then switches to Leftwin, and then so on and so forth, inside of one chapter. Don't get me wrong, I love multiple characters. I'm I'm behind the idea of having multiple main characters inside of a book. But the way she does it is not the way to do it. The way to do it is having, if you want that, if a author wants that, they need to make it where, like, having chapters dedicated to each character. If you want to go from, like, one, like, say, a character being about pain, a chapter being about, not pain, that's not even her name, Thamera, and then having a character, a chapter based on, solely, based on, Left Twin, and then, have the third chapter be about Alice, and then, continue the cycle. I'm sorry, but as a reader who, like, there's 3 things I look for when I'm reading. There's a lot of things, actually. She does a great job at world building. She does a great job at character development. She does a great job at, like, making you feel the emotions the characters are feeling, because she also relies heavily on, like, character building, making you, like, the easiest way I can describe it is Hest is a manipulative, closeted gay man that you hate. You fucking hate him. And it gets even worse when he rapes Alice and starts treating her like shit because he can't have kids. He's infertile. He cannot do it. Like, she's that good where you like want to just snap his imaginary neck. That's the type of writer she is, but that's not, that's not my forte. That's not my taste. I look for world building. That's character development first and foremost. World building, but I also need action. I need something happening, and there has been nothing interesting happening in these 100 pages. Nothing. I've read books that had more going on in the first 20 pages. No, not even 20. 10 pages. Than this book has had. Than this book has, actually fucking done, There's just so little happening. And the moment, when I was actually getting into the story again, it was Left Twins, and then, POV literally just changes. Like, I'll legit read. Okay. Okay, like, I wasn't kidding. Like, here to here to here. Oh, hold on. You guys didn't fucking see it. These entire 2 pages. This entire page, all the way up to here, is about Alice. And then here, like, literally, rest of this page, all the way to where is it? Right here. It goes back to Alice, right? And the rest of this chapter, and then it picks off back with Left Wing. But my point being is that there's like literally like every 2 pages of a chapter, the POV switches. That's not a good. That's where her pacing issues really comes into play, because she doesn't know how to pace. She doesn't like the amount of stuff that Left Wing is doing, that Alice is doing, each of the stuff that each main character is doing could be their own fucking book. Or they could literally have, or she could have had chapters dedicated, like I said, dedicated to each character, but individual chapters dedicated to said characters. Individual chapters dedicated to said characters, yeah. And that's the whole reason why I'm quitting this book. I'm not going to finish it. I'm not going to pick up another Robin Hobb book. I've seen her, seen her stuff online. I'm like, you know what? And then I saw this book at the library. I'm like, you know what? Let me see what the hype about Robin Hobb is. And needless to say, she's overrated. Really overrated. Her work is not that good. She's not a bad author, but for me, in my opinion, trash. Her work for me is trash. She has her, following, has her fans, which I don't get. I'm not the only person who feels like this about Robin Hobb. There's others out there who feel like Robin Hobb is not a good author. That's because she's simply and utterly not a good author. She doesn't know how... Here's the thing when it comes to being a good author. Pacing. And that's one of the reasons why I dropped Empire of the Damned by Jay Kristoff, even though I really loved Empire of the Vampires, because his pacing when it came to the second book was all sorts of whack. And I wasn't really a fan of the POV switch. But if you're not good at pacing, and especially with multiple characters, and having multiple character narrative switches, POV switches, whatever you want to call it, inside of one chapter, and it's so frequent, it's like every 2 to 4 pages inside of one chapter, that can honestly ruin readers, engagement, into the book, into the world. It can be effective, but in the way Robin Hobb does it and handles multiple characters. I don't know if she has multiple characters in any of her other books, but the Rain Wild Chronicles is something where she doesn't do it well, and honestly, she should stop doing multiple characters and work on her pacing, because it seems like even if I didn't read any of her other books, but I can definitely tell when an author is at the point where they have nothing left. They're kind of drawing it out, and that's what to me it feels like Robin Hobb is doing with this book. But like I said, I'm not gonna finish it. She has her fans. It's whatever. Personally, I don't think she should fucking New York's best seller. Fucking get that off. Doubt that. No, she's not a bestseller. I'm sorry. She's a fucking trash author, okay? And, you know, this is nothing towards her personally. It's just me talking about her as an author. She's not a good author. I'm sorry. It's just straightforward. She's bad. For me, at least. Like I said, she has a cult following, loyal following. There are people who enjoy her books. More power to you. But for me, they suck. And she sucks as an author. Because, once again, I reiterate, pacing. You need pacing. And what mind blows me is how an author who has 400 pages, X amount of pages to work with, and they're not on a time, they're not on a timer, can have such piss poor pacing, worse pacing than a 1 hour and 30-minute movie. Mind-blowing. It's fucking mind-blowing. And the fact that the book ends on page 473, officially ends on 473, and it's just... I don't have any more words to reiterate on how it's really mind-blowing on how bad her pacing is. Like, I shit you guys out, there was 2 chapters. There's about a chapter or 2 worth of Alice fucking moping around because she was forced into a marriage with Hest, a closeted gay manipulative son of a bitch that raped her. Well, real rape her. And all over the fact she had to go to this ball. She was forced into this marriage, and she couldn't go see dragons hatching. Pacing is a big thing with me when it comes to books, because I'm sorry, but you this many pages, damn near 500 pages, and you're telling me you as an author cannot figure out how to fucking pace? And it's not only an issue in Dragon's Keeper. I've read reviews about her other books where her pacing and her other books are really poor as well. Like, what was it? The Association of Assassins or whatever, with Fitz, fucking... And especially with Fitz, people hate him because all she had him do is mope and cry, absolutely do nothing. Nothing. Like, when it comes to me, like action, like it doesn't have to be like action, like fighting. But if there's like no action and and the pacing is really bad, pacing is really bad, then that's when I kind of struggle to even continue reading. And that's why I am no longer gonna be reading Dragon Keeper by Robin Hobb. I will never attempt to read a Robin Hobb title again because she's a fucking shit author. Shit. And as I said, this is nothing towards her personally. And, I'm not going to talk shit about people who still, who like her work because, more power to you. A book's not going to be for everyone, but for me, her work's shit. Her works are a load of fucking crap. She's over fucking rated. And quite literally, if this wasn't a rented book and it was just a random book I got from a garage sale, I'd fucking chuck the shit across the room right now. That's how bad it is. Be mad at me all you guys want if you're a fan of Robin Hobb. Don't care. This is my opinion. She is not a good author. And before you say, you didn't read 100 pages, you know what to criticize. Bitch. You actually can't see it. But bottom shelf, right next to that, I got all 3 Lord of the Rings books. I got books upon books. Alright. What are the best fucking examples I can give you before I can get off is Star Wars. It has character development, the books. Character development, world building, and action. And pacing. That's 4. That's the 4 main things every author should strive for. And Robin Hobb does not have a single one. Even fucking Harry Potter. Even fucking Harry Potter. Even J.K. Rowling is a better author than Robin Hobb. And J.K. Rowling is a piece of shit. Even her books are way more better at world building, character development, pacing, and action than this shit is. If I don't end this video soon, I'm gonna continue ranting. I'm sorry. When I read a book and the pacing is fucking all ass, that's when I have a really big issue with the author because they don't know what they're doing. You have, like I said, all these pages. You want to split this basically one entire book into 2 books. And you could have just made it one big fat book with 1,000 pages. Harry Potter has done it. 1,000 plus pages. J.K. Rowling has done it. Multiple other authors have done it. J. Kristoff has done it. 800 to 1,000 pages. Empire of the Vampire. Like, if you cannot manage your pace well, you shouldn't be an author. I'm sorry. You should not be an author because honestly, you should get into the fucking TV business or something because books aren't your thing. If they're not. Like, how can a movie have better pacing than a book? Fucking mind-numbing, bro.